The rain was merciless that night. He found her collapsed near the roadside, her expensive dress soaked, her voice trembling. "Please don't hurt me," she whispered, clutching her ankle. "I can't walk." He wasn't a stranger, though she didn't recognize him yet, and when he carried her in his arms through the storm, neither knew that this one act of kindness would shatter the walls between their two broken worlds, one built on power, the other on pain. The night air smelled of rain and regret. Noah Miller, a single father and former soldier, drove down the empty road toward home after another exhausting shift at the auto garage. His 7-year-old son Eli was asleep in the back seat, clutching his worn teddy bear. Noah's mind drifted to unpaid bills, a broken washing machine, and the letter from his landlord that morning. Final warning. Life had been relentless since his wife passed 3 years ago, leaving him to balance fatherhood and survival. The storm grew stronger, lightning flashing across the horizon. That's when he saw it, something or someone, lying near the roadside. He slammed the brakes, heart racing, a woman, alone, drenched, struggling to move. He rushed out, rain drenching his jacket within seconds. "Hey, are you okay?" The woman flinched, trying to back away. "Please," she stammered, voice trembling. "Don't hurt me, I can't walk." Her ankle was swollen, her right leg twisted awkwardly. She looked terrified, eyes wide and vulnerable beneath the streetlight. Her hair, once neatly styled, clung to her pale face. Her hands shook as she tried to cover herself with her soaked coat. "I'm not going to hurt you," Noah said gently, kneeling beside her. "You're injured. Let me help." "No," she whispered, weakly pushing him away. "Just call someone." I'll be fine." Noah frowned. "Ma'am, there's no signal here. It's pouring, and you'll get hypothermia if you stay out." When she didn't respond, he sighed, slipped off his jacket, and wrapped it around her trembling shoulders. Then, without hesitation, he lifted her into his arms. She gasped. "What are you doing?" "Saving your life," he said simply. Inside his old pickup truck, Eli stirred. "Daddy, who's that?" "It's okay, buddy," Noah said softly. "She's hurt. We're taking her home." The woman blinked through the rain, confused. "Home? I can't—" "Don't worry," he said, turning the heater on. "It's temporary, until we can get you help." The ride was silent except for the hum of the engine and Eli's soft breathing. Noah caught glimpses of her trembling hands, her distant gaze. She wasn't just frightened. She looked haunted. At the small, modest cabin on the outskirts of town, Noah carried her inside, laying her gently on the couch. The warmth of the fireplace filled the room. Eli appeared with a blanket, eyes wide with curiosity. "Daddy, she's pretty." Noah chuckled softly. "Eli, get the first aid kit, please." The woman's voice was soft but formal. "You shouldn't have brought me here. You don't even know who I am." Noah shrugged. "Doesn't matter. You're hurt. That's all I need to know." As he wrapped her ankle, she winced but said nothing. Her expensive diamond bracelet caught the firelight, something that looked out of place in this humble home. After a moment, Noah asked quietly, "What's your name?" She hesitated. Isabella, he repeated. "I'm Noah, and that's my son Eli. You're safe here." She nodded faintly. "Thank you." When she finally fell asleep by the fire, Noah sat across from her, studying her face. She looked like someone who had never known hardship, until tonight. But as dawn approached, he found something she'd dropped in the truck, a gold ID badge with the words Isabella Reyes, CEO, Raymont Industries. Noah's eyes widened. He remembered that name, one of the wealthiest companies in the city. And now the woman sleeping on his couch wasn't just a stranger. She was a millionaire CEO who had once controlled the lives of thousands. And somehow, fate had brought her into his. The next morning, Isabella awoke to the smell of coffee and the sound of laughter. She blinked, confused by the rustic little room, the old wooden walls, the handmade furniture, the faint sound of a boy humming nearby. Eli stood on a stool, stirring pancake batter while Noah cooked by the stove. The sight startled her. It was a picture of warmth she hadn't known in years. When Noah noticed her awake, he smiled gently. "Good morning. How's the ankle?" She touched it lightly. "Still sore, but thank you." You're welcome, he said, handing her a cup of coffee. You were lucky. That storm was brutal. She nodded slowly, her gaze softening as Eli offered her a pancake. I made it, he said proudly. She smiled genuinely for the first time. It's delicious. The hours passed quietly. Noah went out to fix a client's car, leaving Eli to keep her company. The boy's chatter melted the coldness she usually wore like armor. He showed her his drawings, his tiny toy cars, and the photo of his late mother that he always carried. When Noah returned, she was sitting by the window, lost in thought. You've done a good job with him, she said softly. He smiled faintly. I'm trying. Some days it feels like I'm barely keeping it together. You're doing better than most, she replied. Then her expression shifted. You know who I am, don't you? He nodded slowly. Yeah, found your ID. She looked down. I thought so. Doesn't change anything, he said simply. You're still a person who needed help. Her eyes glistened. You have no idea how rare that is. People only see my position, not me. He shrugged. Out here, titles don't mean much. Pancakes and kindness do. A soft laugh escaped her lips, and for the first time in years, she felt human. Days passed, and as her ankle healed, Isabella found herself growing attached to Eli's laughter, to the smell of coffee in the morning, to Noah's quiet strength. She watched how he fixed cars all day, came home exhausted, yet still read bedtime stories to his son. His world was small but filled with love, the kind she'd lost chasing success. One evening, as rain began again, Isabella said quietly, You could work at any major company. You're smart, capable. Why settle for this? Noah smiled sadly. Because I learned that what matters most isn't climbing higher. It's being there for someone who depends on you. His words struck deep. She thought about her cold office, her endless meetings, her loneliness at the top, and she realized how empty her empire truly was. A week later, her driver finally found her location. But as she packed her things, she hesitated. Eli clung to her leg. Will you come back? She smiled through tears. Of course, sweetheart. Noah stood by the door. Take care of yourself, Isabella. She looked at him, her voice trembling. You saved me, Noah, not just from that storm, but from myself. He gave a small nod. Maybe we both saved each other. Months passed. Life returned to its rhythm, until one morning, a black car stopped in front of Noah's garage. A woman stepped out, elegant, radiant, smiling. Miss me? Isabella said softly. He froze. She handed him an envelope. A proposal. Not business, something better. Inside was a contract with his name, offering to partner in a new company, one that provided jobs for single parents, mechanics, and veterans. I want to build something real, she said. With you. Noah looked at her, his heart racing. You're serious? She smiled. Completely. And as Eli ran into her arms, laughing, Noah finally realized, sometimes miracles don't come with lightning or angels. Sometimes they come in the rain, in a stranger's kindness, and in the courage to open your heart again. True strength isn't in power or money, it's in compassion. And sometimes the ones who save us are the ones we least expect.